AI may not be running out of GPUs. It may be running out of money. For 6 straight months, one obscure chart only went one direction, up. Then something happened. It finally rolled over. Most people have never even heard of it. But some analysts think it could matter more than Nvidia's next earnings report. Because this chart isn't tracking how many people use AI. It's tracking something much more important: how much the world is willing to pay for it. It's called the LLM Token Spending Index. And if it keeps falling, it could reshape the entire AI industry. Most people think OpenAI sells ChatGPT. Anthropic sells Claude. Google sells Gemini. Not exactly. What they really sell is tokens. Every question you ask, every line of code AI writes, every report it generates, every agent that completes a task. Behind the scenes, it's all measured in tokens. And for many enterprise customers, that's exactly how they're billed. So this index tracks something surprisingly simple: how much companies are willing to spend for 1 million AI tokens. In other words, how much they're willing to pay for intelligence itself. Now here's why Wall Street cares. The AI economy works like a chain reaction. Businesses buy tokens. Model companies collect revenue. That revenue buys GPUs. GPU demand drives HBM memory. HBM demand drives data center construction. The entire AI infrastructure boom starts with one thing: someone paying the AI bill. For months, token spending kept climbing. Companies happily paid for smarter and more expensive models. Everyone benefited. Then something changed. The chart rolled over. Maybe it's just noise. Maybe it's temporary. But if this becomes a trend, the entire investment story starts to look different. Because if model companies make less money, they buy fewer GPUs. If GPU demand slows, HBM shortages may ease. And if that happens, the trillion-dollar AI narrative suddenly becomes a lot harder to justify. For years, investors believed one simple idea: better models can always charge more. Now, that assumption is being challenged. GitHub recently moved toward token-based pricing. Some users estimated their monthly costs could jump from tens of dollars to hundreds. At the same time, companies are becoming increasingly careful about AI spending and usage controls. The conversation inside boardrooms is changing. It's no longer, can we use more AI? It's becoming, is this actually worth the money? And that's a very different question. There's another problem. Cheap models are getting surprisingly good. Coinbase CEO Brian Armstrong recently predicted that within the next 12 to 18 months, 80% of AI workloads could migrate to models that cost 99% less. If that's true, AI demand could explode. AI revenue might not. Open source models keep improving. Small local models are becoming more capable every month. For many everyday tasks, the most powerful frontier model simply isn't necessary. If you can achieve 90% of the result for 10% of the cost, why pay full price? And here's the irony. Cheaper AI is fantastic for users. It's fantastic for adoption. But it isn't necessarily great for the companies selling the infrastructure. Because what ultimately matters isn't how many tokens get generated. It's how many dollars those tokens generate. Token volume might explode. Prices might collapse. And total revenue might grow far more slowly than investors expect. If that happens, capital spending could slow down too. For the past 2 years, Wall Street has obsessed over one question: how many GPUs can Nvidia sell? The next question may be much more important. Who's still willing to pay premium prices for AI? Because AI may not hit a compute wall, it may hit a budget wall. The biggest bottleneck might not be chips. It might be corporate finance departments. It might be procurement teams. It might be CFOs looking at the monthly invoice and saying, that's enough. And that's why this little-known chart could end up being one of the most important indicators in the entire AI industry. Because, in the end, AI's biggest bottleneck isn't compute. It's the invoice. And remember, GPUs don't buy GPUs. Customers do.